today we are going to be talking about all things fandom, people's first things in fandom, their first experiences with fandom. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie. I am a content creator. I'm a cosplayer. I do all of the things. I typically focus on first-time playthroughs of JRPGs and RPGs, but I really love fandom. And I love talking about fandom, and I love hearing about people's experiences in fandom, and I be reading the fan fiction, I be writing the fan fiction, I be doing all the things. Monster fandom, bora hey. I thought, wouldn't it be cool to talk to creators about how fandom impacts their creation, like their content and just like their personal lives? Because literally I would not be the same person today. I would not be at all the person that I am today if I had never been involved in fandom. So I was like, let's just talk to some people. So I asked 3 really cool creators to come and chat with me today. And so that's what we're gonna do. Thank you all so much for coming on today. If we wanna start out, and can you all just like introduce yourselves? TK, we can start with you because you're in the top corner over here.
So I'm TKayO. You can call me TK. Everyone calls me TK. But I am a variety streamer / gamer. I don't know. I was about to do like my whole spiel, but recently I've been heavy into Valorant. So I play a lot of that now. And I've started doing dance parties at the beginning of my streams, which have been a lot of fun. That's what I do for the most part.
And you can
I guess by nighttime I'm a bartender, so.
Ooh. Yeah, you can teach us how to make fandom-inspired drinks, perhaps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Alcoholic boba is my new thing.
Is the alcohol in the boba, or is it both?
Yeah. Yeah, it's infused. It's like infused boba and then also infused tea.
Okay, so we all need to pull up to TK's bar. Don't say it. Don't dox yourself, but like we all got to pull up because...
Right.
That sounds incredible. Alex, you can go.
Oh, God. I'm terrible at these. Hi, I'm Alex Norimaki. You can just call me Alex. It's my God-given name. I'm technically a variety content creator, but I play a lot of Zelda, which is why I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom. And I should only be streaming 4 hours at a time, but I keep streaming for 7 hours at a time because I clearly have a problem. I also cosplay a lot. Right now I need to finish this cosplay I've been working on for a month. I really hate the stress. But other than that, yeah, that's kind of it.
And you have a 3D printer, right?
Yeah,
I do. So I watch your Instagram stories of you like printing stuff for the Zelda cosplays, and I think that is so cool, and I'm fascinated by 3D printing. So
literally, like I'll model it, and then like I'll have Deads print it, and I just like sitting there and like watching it. I'm like, look at it go. Look at it go. He's like, it's gonna be 3 hours. I'm like, I can just stand here. I can just stare at it for 3 hours. He's like, get out. I'm like, okay.
It's literally magic though. Like that is just like it's printing and something is being made in front of you. I would also sit there for 3 hours if it makes you feel better.
I'm gonna like set up a camera for like a time lapse one day. I swear I need to do it.
You should make a second TikTok account and just do time lapses of 3D printing because people love that shit. It's in the same vein of like power washing porn. Like, you know, the subreddit power washing.
Don't mind me. I'm just pulling sticky notes out.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's like oddly satisfying. No, it's like oddly satisfying.
Porn.
It's in that same vein. It's in the same vein as the oddly satisfying. Dragon, do you want to go?
My name is Dragon. I mainly like RPGs and JRPGs. I love anime. I love anything that has a lot of lore. I'm not like a competitive gamer or like I like to say I'm a variety gamer, but really I'll play anything that has like a good storyline. And I do cosplays. I like TikTok. TikTok doesn't like me, but I like TikTok. Instagram Reel has been kind to me lately, but it's Instagram. So mainly you can find me on Twitch. I'm Jragonxx pretty much everywhere. So yeah. And I'm also the biggest KTCOLE 19 stan, TKayO, Alex Norimaki. Like, I'm so honored to be included in this. So thank you for having me, Katie. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.
Why are you so precious? Like,
honestly?
Damn, what are we supposed to say? Okay, stream's over. Stream's over.
Right, like, okay, that was the cutest thing ever. Everybody have a great time. Get home safe.
It was great to see you all. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna leave now. Well, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I have about approximately 18 questions for us. We just did the first one, so 17 left. We will also take questions from chat. So chat, if you have any questions or if you have questions that come up based on what we're talking about, please feel free to put them in chat. And we will take any ones that we find interesting. Obviously, nothing against TOS. And then I do have 4 bonus questions for y'all at the end. But we can kind of just jump into it. And I would love to, you can go in any order that you want. What was your first fandom experience? And the follow-up to that is like, did you know that fandom, like, did you know what that was as a concept, or were you kind of just like participating and you were like, this is amazing, I don't know what this is, but like I'm having a good time?
Who was
Everybody's so eager.
No, literally, I'm like,
I want to be the first one.
Okay, I can be the first one. Okay, so let me tell you a story about little TK. Well, back then I was Kayla. I guess I didn't know that a fandom was a thing because I was so young. But my introduction to something of that sort, I guess just like fandom in general, was Tenchi Muyo. Specifically Tenchi Universe. I used to like actively every day after school. Everybody would watch like Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon. I went home to watch Card Captors and Tenchi Muyo. Let's be real. When they started airing Tenchi in Tokyo, I had the biggest disdain for Tenchi's girlfriend in Tenchi in Tokyo because it's a harem anime, right? So when I was like watching it after school, there was like, it was like this alien princess and her sister that came and all this other stuff. And then when they introduced the Tenchi in Tokyo universe, he like got this girlfriend in college. And I was like, this isn't one of the original girls. We hate her. So I'm not going to lie to you. I made a whole website. It was a whole HTML website called sakuyasucks.com. And I would just
Not you being an auntie.
you think it still exists? Wait, how do you spell this?
How do you spell it?
Sakuya, Sakuya, Sakuya?
S-A-K?
.com.
And so we like me and my cousin, we did it, right? And so we would take pictures of her from the anime and then like MS Paint boogers and like bloodshot eyes and tears all over her face and just like being smashed with a hammer by the other girls and just upload it.
Wait a minute,
Like,
somebody in chat knows what you're talking about.
Why did it take me to Walmart, TK? It took me to Walmart.
Wait, Starlet, me. I made that website when I was very young, and I hated her so much because it was not Ayaka. We stan Ayaka. We stan Tsunami, but and also Ryoko, also Washu, but we do not stan Sakuya. So I made a whole HTML website and uploaded pictures of Sakuya basically just like ugly and boogers in her nose and tears in her eyes and stuff. So, and then I would just like make little stories at the bottom, captions for it. So that was my.
Okay, so you were making
TK lore.
You were making fan art. You were making edits. You were making fan edits, and you were also like kind of writing fic to go along with them, and also participating in shipping wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
used to.
Yeah.
Why did we stop?
Oh, I I didn't have a computer for like the longest time, so I just didn't do it. But I used to like, okay, so there was like forums that I would go onto. So Harvest Moon was like a big game for me when I was younger, right? And I used to go onto these forums where it was just like role-playing forums, and you'd create your character, and each like little section would be different places, like different buildings or different locations. And I would do text-based RP for like a few years, and then I would just take those conversations and then break them down into like a whole fanfic and then upload them.
So valid. Okay, Alex and Dragon, were y'all, this is a deviation, and but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Have you been in fan RPs, and if so, who were you RPing? Okay, Dragon's like, yes, I have actually.
Well, I guess it depends. Like, does self-insert count, or
self-insert?
Okay.
Well, I guess also in the specifics of like, because like, you know how so I missed the boat on forum RPing, but I did not miss the boat on Tumblr RPing. So like, you know how there would be like specific Tumblr RPs, and you would pick a character, and then you would like do the face claim, and then you would like respond to the people in threads. Was it like a Dragon? Was it like that, and you were just like playing yourself, or?
So Gaia Online.
Yeah.
Gaia
Were some interesting places back when I was too young to be on them. And I was absolutely every character in Inuyasha and Naruto. My favorite to be was Kagome and Sakura.
So valid. So valid.
Is that what then yes.
Okay.
I didn't realize that's what that meant. Oh my god. So I was like that what I was in like 5th grade on Habbo Hotel, and I had no business being on Habbo Hotel.
We were all
grader.
clicking that box that said, yes, I am
Listen,
overage to
I'm
be
clearly
coming into this
13.
website.
I am absolutely 13. 8 years old.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like 3 to the 3rd grade
10-year-old
level.
us. I am 13. Yes.
Mhm.
And I was on Habbo Hotel, and there was somebody had like they had like maxed out the size of their hotel room and like turned it into this like giant recreation of like Clocktown and Majora's Mask. And so we all got to pretend to be like different characters. And a bunch of us started a fight with the carpenters because they were a little bit too good at like denying the moon falling. And they were like, they were like gaslighting us. And
No.
I literally got to be Link for a day because we would like rotate between who would be Link. And the day that I was Link, I was like, my first order of business is all of you meet me outside, and like dragged all of them outside into like the pool area. And I was like, drown in the pool. Like, I'm tired of you. And I didn't realize that was a role play thing. But honestly, if I was Link, I would have killed them on the spot. Like,
I mean,
I'm
look
actually
at you.
very
Look at you now. Look at you now. Cosplaying Zelda.
You're valid.
Honestly,
Making Zelda
yeah.
content online. Like, you have made your dreams are real, kids.
like
Follow
literally
your
they were like,
dreams.
why does everybody hate the Carpenters? I'm like, everybody actually hates the Carpenters. Please go. Like, it was a whole
True,
thing.
yes.
So, Alex, was that your first experience? Was that also your first fandom experience, or was your first fandom experience different?
Oh no, my first fandom experience, it's got like nothing to do with anime and everything to do with like cartoons. The number of people in my like 4th grade class that all watched Ed, Edd n Eddy at the same time, and there was a dress up day in school, and we all dressed up as Ed, Edd n Eddy characters, and like it was adorable. It was very cute. I chose Naz, and I was like, Mom, can you cut my hair in like a bowl cut? And my mom was like, what is this? Where is this coming from? What? No, I'm not gonna cut your hair. I was like, can you get me a wig? And she's like, what? No, what? Go to school. Like, it was a whole thing. We had so much fun. We would like spend time at recess just talking about Ed, Edd n Eddy because it was still coming out like new episodes every week. And so we were discussing it and talking about how at some point these boys have to like stop scamming people, and we were like devising ways for them to actually get money. And I was like, it's literally just a quarter, like go rob your parents' wallets or something when they're doing laundry, and like it was a whole thing. It was like a year of that. So I think that was like the first time.
That is so wholesome. Dragon, what was your first fandom experience?
So I've kind of always been in fandom. The first things that I was interested in the first like memories I have were of me being obsessed with Digimon and Pokemon, and I've kind of never not known a time where I loved that stuff. It's kind of a toss up between two things. I didn't know how to write because I was very, very young, but I would watch Yu-Gi-Oh all the time, and I would be like, Mom, I need you to write the words I'm saying. And I would watch Yu-Gi-Oh and she would write for me, and I'd be watching Yu-Gi-Oh, but I would be self-inserting myself into my own fan fiction that my mom was writing for me. And I was like, and then I did this, and she wrote it down, and then I drew the pictures for it, and I kept that book for years, and I was so proud of it. So that was when I realized that I was in deep. But the first time I actually understood what fandom was, this is kind of embarrassing. The first time that I knew what fandom was, though, is a more embarrassing story than that. I don't know how much y'all know about like Sonic fandom.
Oh
But,
god, a lot, way too much.
Okay, all
I
right.
actually don't know.
I
I don't know
agree.
much.
More than I should.
Yeah.
I very casually like it. I very casually like Sonic.
You're so normal. You're so normal about Sonic
so
the
real
Hedgehog.
for this.
You're
Like,
so
I used
incredibly normal.
the Sonic fandom, they always would make their own OCs, and I actually made one recently. And you would like design your own characters and stuff. But I realized what fandom was when I discovered like the internet and people on the internet also loving Sonic very casually. And I was like, oh, okay, it's not just me. This is like a thing.
So who were you shipping Sonic with?
It looks like Knuckles.
Well, listen, Sonic and Amy are meant to be, but they had no business making Shadow so cool.
He was hot, and there was no reason for that.
You're very valid. This is a safe
They
space.
didn't Shadow the Hedgehog
Like
so hard.
for real, there
I
was
get
no
that.
reason for that. Like
I
the cool
get
boy,
that.
the
I
cool
had the
boy.
biggest crush on Shadow.
See,
I think
we
we
can be the same
Who's my
person.
favorite? I don't know.
I think we can
Wait,
all
who
say
is?
that there's been a monster or animal adjacent creature that we've all wanted to. I think we can all say that.
I'm not even
TK looks
embarrassed.
skeptical, but I am sure that you can find something.
My like AIM RP name was Kikyo the Wandering Traveler. So
my
you
God.
know.
I love
That's
it.
so cute.
Meanwhile, I was just a little bit gay for Rouge the Bat. Nothing is fine.
Yeah, I want to cosplay her.
Me too. I tried
she's
that.
the
Messed up. I
only
have to try
Sonic-
again.
She's the only Sonic character that knows what sex is for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And she's good at it.
I mean, I don't know Sonic, but I'm taking y'all's opinions as God's word
I need
on
you
this
to
one.
look up Rouge the Bat at some point. She
That
fine
is
as fuck. It has no
absolutely
business.
On this same topic, what was the first fanfic you ever read that you can remember reading?
Do I have to like?
I'll expose myself.
Can someone go first?
Okay, yeah. You know what? Let me put y'all's minds at ease. I am very sure that the first fanfic I ever read, I can't remember if it was a Teen Titans fic or if it was a CSI Las Vegas fic. Those are
What?
obviously two very. Oh, I was
Very-
like
What?
two very different things. But I like
Where
came up.
am I?
I like came up in fandom within the CSI fandom at like 10 years old. I was watching CSI Las Vegas. I was hooked on it. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Watching grotesque murders every single week. 10-year-old me was like, I'm so into this. But the characterization was really good. I stand by that. Before I knew it was cop propaganda, I was like, this show, and it did for a while. So I can't remember if it was, I remember reading a Robin and Tara fanfic that like rearranged my brain. And I was like, this is so good. And I can't believe I get to read these stories for free. Oh my God. It was on fanfic.net. And then, but there was also a Sarah and Greg fan fiction from CSI that I remember reading at a really young age. And I was like, wow, I can't believe that like other people want these two characters to kiss. Like, me too. So that was mine.
Something in common.
Yeah, I had something in common with strangers on the internet.
I think my first one was Card Captors. It was Sakura and Lee. They were my first one, which was honestly, okay, I'm not gonna lie to you, huge smut enthusiast over here. I can't, like, I don't know why, but
You're
like,
real for that.
You don't have to justify it. That's all that I read nowadays.
Like, I'm just like a huge, so like that's what I was like. I think it's because like all fanfic was always just like, for me, it was more like smut introductory, you know?
Yeah.
So that's was like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That part.
and like even the stuff that I wrote was very much like in that realm. Like there's points where I suggest like anime to Kage or E or literally anyone, and they're like, okay, is this another hentai? And I'm like, probably not. So yeah, but like I think Sakura.
Please send me your anime recs then.
I got you. But Sakura and Lee from Card Captors was definitely my first one, like my introduction to fanfic in general, which they ended up falling in love anyway. So you know, it was meant to be. I knew that I was standing the right one.
Oh my God,
That
your
is
ship
so
became
cute.
canon.
Right?
That's never
I
happened to me.
Ascended fan, and I love that.
know.
Wow.
Oh my God. No, I think the first fanfic, no, not even I think. The first fanfic that I like ever read was for The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, because it was like the first anime I ever like watched consecutively. And it was like shipping two of the girls together, because it's like one guy who has no superpowers whatsoever, and then it's Haruhi who's like has all the superpowers, and it's like three other people who are like an Esper, a time traveler, and an alien. And it basically shipped the time traveler and the alien together, and the time traveler was like the freaking fan service girl anyway, and then the alien was just kind of like freaking weird and acted like a robot. And I read it was like 85 chapters, and I read through them so fast. Like I was going through it, and I was like, all of this makes so much sense. It like explains away the main character and everything, and I was like in way too deep, and I got so deep into the fanfic I kind of forgot it has nothing to do with the actual anime. And I would like go back like on subsequent watches and watch it. I was like, none of this shit makes sense. Y'all don't belong together. What the fuck is this? Like, turn to your girlfriend. And like, I would get so upset because in my head, the two girls deserve to be together, and this man can actually just kind of leave the room. It was very. I got too deep. Like, you're not supposed to get that deep.
Actually, I would argue that you can. That that's what media is there for, to get deep on. I mean, you can either get deep with it or you cannot. Like, there's no like right or wrong way to do it. And also, canon is simply a suggestion, as I always say.
Really is.
I was like, and it was so well written. That was the problem. Like, maybe if it was terribly written, I would have been fine. But this was written like professionally, and I was like, no, this right here. This is the real one. This is real.
Probably should have been.
It really should have been. But there was a lot of smut involved. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We love it.
I mean, it was 85,000 words. Yeah.
It was nasty. Okay. Like,
did they say, was it used, was it on the old school system? Was it on the old school fruit system? So did they say like lemon warning? Yeah.
Oh,
and that's when I learned what lemon warning was. And I was like, oh, lemon warning.
Too. And then I only looked up lemon warning.
Literally.
I would search
like,
by keyword
this doesn't
lemon.
have the lemon tag on it. Never mind.
Yeah, because I saw the tag and I was like, lemon. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that means. And then like 2 chapters in, it had lemon warning. And I was like, bitch, what does a lemon got to do with anything? And I was like, because it's juicy. I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, what was the first fic that you ever read? Yeah.
All of mine. I'm like, okay. so there's this game series. It's called Dynasty Warriors, right? And it's inspired by a book series called Remnants of the Three Kingdoms, which is inspired by like actual real world events. But in the game series, it's like a hack and slash game. And I fell into such a deep hole with that game that I started reading all of the fanfic about like the characters and all of the self-insert. So it was definitely between the Dynasty Warriors fanfics that I used to read every single day, which like are like really hard to explain because it's kind of like a niche game. So it's a very like random community to like fall into, I think. Between that and Inuyasha, because Inuyasha, like they got real descriptive in those fanfics, and that got me through a lot of tough times,
I feel like the Inuyasha fandom was really big, right?
Yeah.
That one's very popular.
Sure.
I ran on Neopets. I had like you can make like guilds.
Yeah. I was in the guilds.
Yeah.
I ran an Inuyasha X Kagome guild on Neopets, and it was good, like we had like a good thing going for a while until Neopets,
Yeah,
maybe I should check in, I think.
Did NFTs. Yeah. I wanted to log into my old Neopets account, and I have lost access to the email forever, so I can never recover my password, and I can never log in to check on my pet Piofin that is probably eternally dying.
Bestie, that thing is...
Yeah,
they never actually die. They never actually die. They're just on the brink of death. Okay,
it died. That's make peace.
I am obsessed with them. Looking at an image of a Piofin like sends my heart, and I just like want to hug them. I really want a Piofin plushie, but I've yet to find anybody, even people that take commissions. Nobody will make one for me. I love asking people this question because I would say that probably like half of my very close friends IRL today that have been my friends for over 10 years all came from fandom, or they have been friends that like we discovered we had fandom stuff in common. Have you made fandom friends across the years? Or like did you ever make any friends like on Tumblr or on like forums or stuff that like then like you actually like know IRL to this day?
For me, I grew up in Florida and Ohio, and the places that I grew up, nobody was like into like anime, or they liked Call of Duty, but like they didn't like the same games that I liked. I think that I didn't really find friends who liked the same things as me until I was like late into high school, and they liked anime, but they didn't really like any of the games that I liked. I didn't really make like actual fandom friends until I started doing Twitch, to be honest. Like it was mostly something that like I did on my own time, and I was like, this is like my guilty little pleasure. But since starting Twitch and streaming, I've found so many friends who are passionate about the same things as me, and I feel like that's one of my favorite things about Twitch. Like all of you, like I met you through here, and like we have all these shared passions. But people that I would see in person, they never really like they think of anime as like cartoons, and I'm like, no, it's so much more than that.
I'm the same way. Yeah, because I mean, I've known basically my entire life, like since I want to say like 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. So I mean, he was the only one that really was into anime, but we knew each other not through that, I guess. And then outside of that, it was like no one I knew really got into anime or anything like that. They were all very much just like, oh, that's so uncool or whatever, you know? So it's something that I definitely just kept to myself until I started doing Twitch. And then, because like I would be open about it and I would tell people that like that was an interest of mine or whatever, but it's not like I connected with anybody with it. And then here it's like I have so many people that like, now I'm just like, well, I don't watch all of the same stuff, but because like we all know how I feel about certain animes, but you know,
About non-harem animes or
I mean non-harem animes, you know, I like the power of friendship. Honestly, like anything that is an anime, I will call it a harem. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's always gonna be a harem, and I'm gonna find a way to make it a harem.
anything
But,
can be a harem
you know.
anime. You
Absolutely.
just have to
That's what
open
I'm
your mind.
saying.
Absolutely.
Chainsaw Man is my new favorite harem anime. You
Yeah.
can't
Chainsaw
change my
Man
mind.
arguably is
I
like a
agree.
harem anime though,
That's
dead
what
ass.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But nobody believes me, you know?
Okay, well you got three
So-
people here who are like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. And I've talked about this like a lot, especially recently, but like I didn't have anybody I knew through high school who liked anything that I liked. So like I was an athlete and I pretty much only had that in common with other people. And then outside of that, I wouldn't really hang out with people because I would go home and play video games or watch anime or watch cartoons, and they would like do, I guess, I don't know, normal people stuff. And so like I didn't really have any friends that did any of this kind of stuff. And then when I went to college, and I did not expect this, I expected to be like a loner in college. My best friend now, she's just like me. Like she plays video games a whole lot. She watches anime. She's the one who like told me, she's like, why don't you collect plushies? Like you love stuffed animals. Cause like I went to college with like 3 or 4 stuffed animals, and now they're freaking like, you can't even see them all. They're like behind me on the floor. Like she bought me one. My best friend bought me the Korok. Like they did the whole thing for me. And they were like, hey, there's like other people who do this shit. It's not just you. And when I started streaming and I started doing YouTube and everything, and I was like meeting tons of people who do all of these different things, and then finding out there's other people who have the same favorite video game as me or the same favorite anime as me, and just being like, oh my God, I actually have people I can talk to about this who aren't gonna look at me like I have 2 heads. Like it wasn't until at least sophomore year of undergrad, but like definitely since I've started streaming in the past 3 years, that's really been it.
Gossip Girl fan wars were, look, I was pulling a TK, but I was rooting for Dan and Blair. At this age, I can appreciate that Chuck and Blair were really hot.
Wow.
We love Blair.
We love Blair. We love Blair. I
Blair.
went from being a Chuck and Blair shipper. I like was really like into Chuck and Blair, and then just
I
like the
still love Chuck and
pipeline.
Blair.
Look, they're still hot to this day, but then there was
I love
there was
Chuck.
a time period where they were introducing the concept on the show, not in the books. I separate the two. But on the show, where they started introducing this concept of Dan and Blair, and I was like, you know what? Like, it's the intellect for intellect. So the
I
reason
remember that one.
they are so smart, they deserve to be together.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I saw the Dan and Blair thing. I'm like, you can't do that to Chuck. You just can't. So
No,
I was
you're
like, you can't
valid.
do
You're
that to Chuck.
valid. Chuck and Blair shippers won in the end, like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's, you know, we can fix him, you know?
What is your favorite fandom memory?
Is it weird to say that mine's like super duper recent?
No. That's
Oh, go for it.
not weird at all. We can talk about present. Like, this doesn't have to be like, oh, back in the day. Like, there are still really cool fandom things happening
Back in
today.
my day, no. No, I think my favorite memory for sure, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life, is like the day Tears of the Kingdom came out. And like I posted this on Twitter, but like I actually went live and I hadn't even turned the Switch on, and I just like burst into tears. And I was like opening, because I had bought like the collector's edition for it, and so I was opening it on stream. And I was just like pulling everything out that it had like in the box. And so it had the game, and it had like these little pins, and it had like a poster, and everybody was like coming in, because I did like right at the beginning of stream, and like 5 or 6 people had like come in consecutively and had been like, I literally have been avoiding everybody else's stream waiting for you to do this.
Aww.
And they were just coming in, and they were coming in. And I read that one and then like looked at this, and I showed them the pins, and they're like, these are so cool. I can't wait to see what you do with the pins. Show us when you put them somewhere. And I just started crying because I was like, I really have been playing Zelda my entire life and read everything about it and listened to all the music about 1,000 times, and I've never had people to like enjoy it with. Because like I'm the one person in my family, well, not the one person, my brother does too, but he's like 9 years older, so it doesn't really count. I'm like the one person in my family. I got made fun of for liking this stuff, and now there's like a bunch of you in here who were waiting for me to go live, and I just could not stop crying because like we're all doing this Zelda thing together. They're like, yeah, I don't even have the game, but I'm watching you play it. Like it was like, it made me like sob uncontrollably for like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, I found my people. And I was like, okay, do y'all want to play the game now? And everybody was like, play it, Alex. And I was like, I'll cry again. Like it was the whole thing, but it's like my favorite thing. Cause for real, I never, like I as a kid, I never thought I would have friends and people who would like gladly have the experience with me. And so now it's like our own like little mini fandom of just Zelda stuff, and it's just been like, oh, it's been so nice.
That's
I think
so nice. I just like teared up listening to that. I was like, this was not even my experience, and I'm like,
I was trying not to cry again.
again.
Like my nose started
so
running. I was like, oh
nice.
shit, not twice.
it can be twice. This is a crying stream. Every stream I cry about something. So you know. Anybody else have favorite fandom memory?
I'm trying to. You know what? This was also very recent, and it was so small. But they announced the second half, I guess, or the second season of the Clear Card Saga for card captors on April 1st. And Twitter blew up for maybe like 3 hours, where people were just like speculating on whether or not it was an April Fool's joke, or, you know, if it was an announcement because Sakura's birthday is April 1st. And so like that's a whole thing. So it's still like kind of a conspiracy that's that's going on right now. We don't know if it's actually happening or if it's not going to happen. So I don't know, but that was like a very brief moment in time where I saw like way more people than I thought that were super into card captors.
That's so nice. I feel like within the last few years, things that everybody really liked like 10 or 15 years ago, like we're either getting more or we're getting like sequels or like things are coming back. Like Jragon just you texted me the other day and you were like, there's a new Psycho-Pass movie or a season coming out, and we were like,
yeah.
I mean, I just started watching that, but oh my God. Jragon put me on to Psycho-Pass, and I'm so
It's so
pissed.
good.
I'm pissed
So good.
because I waited so long to watch it. And anime peaked with Psycho-Pass. Jragon, do you want to tell us about your totally wholesome favorite fandom memory now?
Well, it actually is kind of wholesome. So, I really love the game series called Nier. I got into it this year, and I love that fandom so much. And what's like really cool about it is that it's like a spin-off from like a really old game series called Drakengard. And one of the joke endings to Drakengard Game 1 became Nier Game 1. It's like a super convoluted like storyline, but something happened that was really cool in the fandom pretty recently. While I was actually streaming the game, somebody posted a video on Twitter, and they were like, hey, there's a secret room. And the game has been out for years at this point, and all of the secrets have been pretty much discovered. But somebody posted a video of a secret room in a church, and everybody on the internet was like playing the game and diving in after years, trying to figure out this mystery and trying to solve it together. And it brought the entire community together, and everyone who had never played it for the first time started playing it. It was just like this big explosion of just like everyone coming together to like solve this puzzle. And it was so beautiful. And like I was playing the game when it happened, and I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. I manifested this. Like, and everyone was like so locked in. And we spent like, I think it was probably like a month, and they were like feeding us like little breadcrumbs of like information, like, oh, you have to go here. And like they had like actual like footage of them doing it. And it was so cool. And then it was released that it was somebody just modding the game, because even the game developer Yoko Taro, he was in on it, and he was like tweeting, and he's like, I'll never tell, because he's a funny guy. But it was just like, even though it was a mod, it was so beautiful to have the fandom come together to create something and be a part of something that was just like so fun, and so harmless and just so fun. I thought that was really cool. and it inspired people to get into the series for the first time because it is like a really complicated series. It is a really complicated storyline. So it made sense that it would be like, here's this secret thing that nobody ever found. And I just thought that was really cool.
Yoko Taro is just like me if I was a game developer. I would be trolling everybody all the time. I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, this exists. Was there ever a scandal in any of your fandoms? And or was there ever any fandom drama that you were involved in? I mean, TK was obviously out here coding websites and starting ship wars, but like besides that, was there anything? I mean, I was definitely fighting in the tag section in Tumblr for Dan and Blair every week for a while.
I don't know if I ever had any drama, to be honest. Like
so.
any of the fandoms I was ever involved in were low-key peaceful people. Like
That's
we all just
so
wanted
nice.
friends. Right? It is. Like now that I'm thinking, because some fandoms are like looking for a fight, and then the ones I was involved in were just like, we're so happy you're here. There's more than 5 of us.
Yeah,
like,
I think yeah. I don't think I've ever experienced any like drama, but I also didn't have like large groups of people within that realm until like way later, like now. I guess maybe my biggest drama is with Kage because he swears. Dragon, close your ears. He swears Naruto is like the best ever, and I just can't agree. Dragon, I love you.
no,
Wait,
I don't think it's the best
I
either.
don't think
either.
it's the, I don't think it's the
let my
best
two
anime.
tattoos fool you.
This man tells me that Fairy Tail sucks, okay? But because like power of friendship, but then he watches Naruto and he's like, it's not about the power of friendship. It's about
Jesus
more than
Christ,
that. And I'm
who hurt
like,
him? Because
well,
yes,
I
it
don't
is.
know.
But it low-key,
Also, that is
Naruto
like-
low-key is about the power of friendship.
It's like all it is. Low-key.
All
That's what I'm
shonen
saying.
anime
So you know
are.
so you know what? That's my drama. Kage is my drama.
No,
You know what? That is so
You're
back
valid
you
for
up.
that.
You're so valid.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like he kind of
Yeah, you're valid.
that one. Like
That's what I'm
valid.
saying. He's just like oh, Naruto is like it's about more. It's like they're friends, yeah, sure, but like it's about coming over obstacles in your family and trying to be the best you could be.
Shut
I'm like,
up.
with the power of
every
your
shonen.
friends, bro.
How are you
With
overcoming
the
them?
power
Overcoming
of
them.
your
Not you
friends,
showing up.
bro.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, Kage, you're wrong. We have to agree you're wrong.
Anime tattoo.
Not Kage being in here.
What is
You're
it? Just
wrong.
smell when somebody shoots him. You're wrong. You know you're wrong, and we're never gonna convince you that you're right.
You can't. Okay, my argument would be that Full Metal Alchemist is better than Naruto any day of the week.
You're never gonna get me to watch the rest of it. I'm sorry.
I've never. Well,
I'm sorry.
I've never seen Fairy Tail, so I can't like have an
It's
opinion to
so
bring to that.
good. It's
I need to
so
watch
good.
it. I need to
so
watch
many
it.
Does it have
opinions.
yaois? Does it have yaois?
Probably.
It can. I'll write you
Yeah.
one.
Anything can have a yaoi.
Do you want?
I'll write you one.
Oh my god, TK, write me a fanfic. I'm in.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a professional. How much smut do you want? Are we rated? Do you want it like rated E for erotica?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen.
Bet.
Oh my god. Meanwhile, I don't even want to look at like erotic fanfic for my favorite anime because it's already nasty. So like I don't want to see Kill la Kill fanfic. Like I just know it's too on the damn nose. It's too on the nose.
Wait a minute. I want to dive more into that. Run that back. You said Kill la Kill, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I have only watched one episode of it. It's on my like continuing to watch list. But when you say it's like too on the like is it that the show is giving you enough so you feel like you don't need like transformative works?
Okay, so anytime somebody's like, I know why it's your favorite anime, they're like, it's because of the titties. And like, okay, yes, I enjoy titties, but that's not why it's my favorite anime. Like, it actually has a really good story, but the story doesn't like revolve around clothing and lack thereof. So like the whole point is like nudity is the only time you're actually safe because all the clothing is evil. Like that's the whole point. And it gets real freaky, like real fast, and like the villain's kind of a freak, and like everybody else is kind of a freak, and everybody's way too happy being naked, and like, but it makes sense in context.
I need to hold on.
I love it.
I need to watch it.
It's only 24 episodes long.
I
and
know
it's
that's why I
funny
started
as
watching
hell.
it because I was like, this is an anime for me. It's only 24 episodes
It is
long.
funny as hell.
anime
It's funny
is wild.
and freaky and just really well done. And like most of the VAs from Hunter x Hunter were also in Kill la Kill. So like it's really good acting as well. And I love it so much, but it's already so freaky as it is. And if somebody like wrote fanfic about it, it'd be like, where else can you take it?
Dragon, did you have any fandom drama that were there ever any scandals in your fandom or like anything you were involved in?
I wasn't involved in any Dragon Age scandals, but that fandom is always very full of drama. But it's because they care and love about the character so much. I was thinking hard about this question, and the only time I've ever been in fandom drama was actually kind of recently, and I don't even know if I would call it drama. The One Piece fandom is just very dedicated to One Piece. And I recently started watching One Piece after hating One Piece my personality trait. So I recently started watching it with Vine, and we cosplayed as Zoro and Ace. And I'm only like on episode like 20 or so. Like I'm still early on into it, but I took a photo of me cosplaying Zoro, and Zoro is big, like, you know, like big beautiful men, right? And I think I killed it. Like I think my cosplay was pretty good, but the One Piece fandom was very divided on it. So I posted it on Reddit, and Reddit alone is a scary place.
Yes.
And it was trending. It was on the trending page, and most people were like, "Hey, it's really good." But there were a lot of people in that fandom who were very angry at me. One, for cosplaying him as a woman, because I did it like, you know, like I did like a gender bend version of Zoro. And then two, they were like, your eye isn't closed and you have your mouth on the blade. Zoro would have his eye closed and he wouldn't be biting the blade, he'd be biting the hilt. And I was just like, y'all.
Did he tell you this?
I have had I also saw those
does not
comments.
make sense to me.
They were like,
why be upset?
But
Why
you know
not?
what?
It's been a thing
That's
for the
another
longest
girl
time.
ruining a character, and I'm like, y'all, do you not want women to be hot on the internet? Is this something that you don't want? Like, can I, like, you know, like the One Piece fandom, like a lot of them were really nice. They were like, yeah, you know, technically you probably should have had the eye closed, but he looks good, you know?
Why would you even say that?
Were mad. They were angry with me.
Oh yeah.
And
And
it's
My Hero
always-
fandom
it's-
is like that.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
always from
That's another one I
non-cosplayers
can't-
too,
I
by the
can't.
way. It's always from people who have never cosplayed or like don't understand like the concept of having fun. Like they just literally like don't know how to have fun. There are a million other things they could have commented, like how intricate the makeup was for your stitches, or like how good the wig was, or like the fact that you were even able to hold a sword in your mouth. That shit is heavy.
People online sometimes are just they're just creating conflict and drama just to do it, is what I've learned.
Bored.
Overall, the One Piece fandom has been very nice, and here's what I want to say about it. I feel like, you know, like with My Hero, like that fandom can be kind of intense sometimes. The One Piece fandom, they just really want you to watch their favorite show.
Yeah.
They just really want you to watch it. And I held off for so long. But yeah, they were not happy with that.
No, it was really weird. Like because My Hero is terrible and you will never. I literally cosplayed Maruko.
It's awful.
They're the
Thank
worst.
you.
Yeah.
They're the
Ah,
worst.
it's
They're the
so
worst.
bad.
Mirko was the first cosplay
It's so
I ever did, and I
bad.
chose her specifically because I'm black and she's got darker skin, and it just made sense. And I'm thicker than the Snicker, and so is she. Like it just made sense. And somebody was like, "She's more muscular than this. You didn't work out enough for this." And I was like, "So
You
first
don't
off, I
work
can
out?
squat you and your mother. So let's not start there. Number two." Bitch, like, what do you mean? Like,
Also,
why
I'm
are you
sorry,
so
is
worried
somebody
about this?
paying you? Is somebody sitting down and is like, we're paying you $10,000 for this one cosplay. We want you to specifically work. Like this isn't like an acting role where somebody signs up and they're like, I'm gonna
Beyonce
have
going on tour.
Yeah.
I just put this shit on in my bedroom. Are you out of your mind? They were just like, she works out a lot more than this. Your biceps aren't as toned. And I was like, literally, I go to the gym 5 days a week.
Also,
I'm just thick.
are their biceps as toned?
Literally, I think when I commented, it was like, "Oh, okay, thank you for the ideas. Could you drop your workout routine, please?" They blocked me.
Also, it's a fictional character. You cosplaying them, you can cosplay them however you want to cosplay them. It doesn't have to be like a one-to-one like recreation.
Also,
and you killed that cosplay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's true. You kill
Yeah.
every cosplay.
Also, if
honestly.
Maruko had like heard you say that, she'd beat your ass. So
So
don't
true. So
you should be
true.
speaking on my girl like this. Like,
What skills did fandom teach you? So for example, like I used to be like a fan vidder back in the day. I would like make like shipping videos and like general videos and whatever and post them on my burner YouTube channel, which nobody needs to know the name of.
Go ahead and drop that in Discord for us. Thank you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Somebody
I
out there's
will.
got it.
But yeah, so like I learned how to video edit because of that, and that's a skill that I'm super grateful to have now. But what about y'all? Did you learn any skills from being in fandom?
I learned the entire Adobe Creative Suite through Fandom.
That's wild. Wait, tell me more.
So to preface this, like I literally went to like a design academy magnet program in high school. So we had to learn how to do it anyway, but I really wouldn't have given a shit if I didn't have something to like latch onto. And like a bunch of people, we had to like do this like one project in Photoshop where we had to like turn a photo of some kind into like a poster art, and you had to like use the pen tool. Like it took like a ton of work. It was like 2 weeks worth of work. And I took a picture. I took a picture of Midna and I put her there, and I just started like slowly outlining her and everything. And I finished like a week ahead of everybody. So I started on another one, and then I like showed it to one of my friends. I printed it out and faxed it to my cousin. And she was like, bitch, can I have one? So I made another one. And then later on, like we learned Premiere, but I didn't really like use Premiere. But then I started like editing like little, like, I guess what would now be like an AMV, because it was to music, and it was just different like screenshots of like Midna throughout Twilight Princess and everything. So I learned how to do that like really well. And then it just kind of went on from there. It was a lot of Midna, I'm realizing in hindsight. Like
You're valid for that.
the more I talk about it.
loved AMVs. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like I learned how to like download music off the internet to use
So
in my
real.
videos that way, you know, like, so all the things I make on stream now, like for my stream transitions and stuff, you can just thank Midna, because like I know how to do it because of her.
Thank you, Miss Midna. We appreciate your work.
For me, I was actually the kid that sat in the back of the class and drew the anime eyes all period. And people would come up to me and they'd be like, hey, will you draw me? And I was like, yeah, I'll draw you. And I'd give them like big like anime hair and stuff. And like I learned how to like draw it really well. And I feel like that's translated into like everything else that I do now, like with like my stream and like how creative I am. It's because like I've been doing like fan art like my whole entire life, and have Naruto and Dragon Ball Z to thank for that. You know, like gaming as well, gaming fandoms. I don't think that I would have ever started Twitch if I hadn't passionately fallen in love with the storytelling aspect of like different fandoms. Like I don't know. I want to go back to Sonic again, but Sonic was so good. And
I
then
love
Twilight
Sonic
Princess.
so much.
Twilight Princess was so impactful to me as a game. Like you said, Midna. Like I literally have Midna tattooed. Like I've just like become so obsessed with those things that I've developed my entire like person, my entire being around like those things. And so yeah.
I was like super into like drawing Pokemon and Ayaka specifically from Tenchi Muyo. But yeah, I would like practice anime eyes constantly and nothing else. Everyone else was like essentially just like not the T pose, but you know, like the one where it's like they just like stand there like this.
The eye threw up pose.
Yeah.
I threw up.
Yeah. They would all just like have that pose, and then just the feet would be just like the little like the little U shape. But the anime eyes were on point. And then I also learned, you know, Microsoft Paint, lots of boogers in Sakuya's face. So, you know.
I mean, that alone is a marketable skill.
But I think I like seriously though, I think my writing has been like the quality of my writing and the way that I tell stories via my writing, I guess, when it comes to fantasy or just fiction in general. A lot of it is contributed from just fandom in general, and having that experience of even if I was like doing like RP and just like copy pasting other people's stuff and just like editing around the way that they typed it, it still like helped me write for multiple characters versus just like the one, you know.
Yeah. Well, and TK, you do film as well. I guess, did any of your like formative experience, this isn't necessarily about fandom, but like did any of your formative experiences with media kind of help you like now as,
Well, it was
as
100%
being in
fandom.
film?
Yeah.
Like help you tell
It was
stories.
I think it was like 8-year-old me was super into anime, like Pokemon, Tenchi, Card Captors, all of that. Like I was super into. I watched Slayers. I watched like a bunch of just like vintage anime, right? But I was also into gaming, and I think that was around the time that movies like Tomb Raider and Mortal Kombat and all that were coming out, and they were always trash. They were always trash. And the biggest reason that I got into film and why I wanted to do film was because I wanted to be able to adaptations. I was like, if adaptations are going to be made, I'm going to make them, because you need somebody that's like in it, right? You need people who are like actually into what they're creating and not just creating it for money and then the fandom is second. So that was like my I guess the motivation for my pursuit was because everyone makes adaptations as trash. And I've seen like a lot of the most recent ones. Honestly, like the Sonic one, I hated. I thought it was good for what it was, but like I hated the way that they did it. I think that the best one that I've seen so far is the most recent Mario movie. That's the best adaptation.
I need to see it.
I still haven't seen it.
Movie of the year.
I
Movie
still
of the
haven't
year, in my
seen it.
opinion.
I need to see it.
Yeah,
Alex, I think this means that you and I have to go see the Mario movie together.
yeah.
I think that's just the price we have to pay. Oh darn.
I'll see it again.
I mean, are we shipping Bowser and Peach? Because like I am.
yeah.
I need to know what
But I
peaches
will
means.
say, like the one that like really got me, I was like, I hope to never see a Legend of Zelda movie adaptation
Ooh.
until I make it. That was my whole thing.
If
I was
you
like,
make it, can I
can't
help?
it. Absolutely.
I just wanna help.
Because it was Ocarina of Time that did it for me, right? Because that was like my first Zelda game. I played that game multiple times. I bought it on every single platform that it came out on. Like that was like you know how like you are like Zelda fandom, Alex? I was just like Ocarina of Time fandom. Like that was just like that was my game. That
Just
was
the
my
one?
game. I
Fair.
loved it so much. So yeah, so that was like one of those things where it was like if they ever make an Ocarina of Time, because to me it wasn't Legend of Zelda, it was Ocarina of Time. So it was like if they ever made an Ocarina of Time movie, I never want to see it unless I am involved in some way as like the director, so that I know that it's not being turned into an alternate
Cash
timeline
grab
for
piece of
yeah.
trash.
Because I hate that. I hate like genuinely when I saw the Mario movie announcement for the voice actors, I was like, I hope they don't make Chris Pratt a human and then he gets sucked into this fucking tube and then all of a sudden he's Mario. Like that's how I thought it was gonna go, because that's how it always goes, right? So I was really happy with the way that they did it this time. There was like a couple of complaints that I had with it, but for all intents and purposes, I think that was the best adaptation that I've seen in video games or in anime, and also like that's the best adaptation for I guess
I agree.
nerds and geeks in general. You know,
It's fair.
I
will say, like Sonic Adventure 2 is my favorite video game, period. So I'm like really not excited for how they're planning on having Shadow added in to the movie series. Like I'm
I'm not a big fan of the actual movie. Like I think it was good for
I think it's good just as like a
Sonic.
movie, like just to enjoy a movie.
Yeah.
Like it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But if they ruin the lore of my favorite video game, I literally might write an angry letter. Like on God, I'm not even, it will ruin me mentally for like a week. I will be so pissed off.
Yeah.
I agree. I support
I've
you.
only ever seen the Sonic. So I've never played a Sonic game. I just recently saw the Sonic movie. There's two out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw both of them. We watched them in Discord like a few months ago. And honestly, my biggest takeaway was that Robotnik and his assistant are in a 24/7 dom-sub relationship. That was what I came away with from that movie.
You know, you making some points.
Yeah, that's valid.
Making some points. I don't know if Eggman's like, I don't know if he's a top like most of the time, but you know, but I mean it's
top
freaking, what's his name?
Bottom doesn't equal dom-sub.
I can remember his name. The guy that plays Eggman. Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. He's
He's
good.
never gonna not be a top. Like
okay, so true. And Jim Carrey is doming. That man is
doing
doming,
amazing,
and he's doing an amazing job.
Retiring from acting, and Eggman's the last one he's gonna do. I
Wait,
found
he's
out.
retiring? That actually makes me sad because
It hurts my feelings.
he's like a really great actor, and I feel like he's like, okay, I'm not going to be dramatic. No, there's tons of great actors out there, but I'm like, oh my god, he's like one of the last great actors. No, he's not. There are a million great actors,
from
but like
my childhood, like he was the Grinch. What the hell? I don't want to lose that.
Yeah. How has being in fandom and like being a fan of something altered either or both your life and you as a person? And like, has being in fandom or even like reading fic or like making transformative works in any way like help you discover? Has it helped you discover anything about yourself?
My sexuality.
No, I mean valid. I mean,
Yeah.
My sexuality for sure.
Truly, I feel that's so heavy. I literally would not be this prevalent on the internet if not for Animal Crossing. I'm not gonna lie.
was your origin story Animal Crossing?
Well, my origin story as a content creator, low key, is kind of Animal Crossing, but not in the way you would think. So, like, when New Horizons was coming out, a bunch of people, you know, like Animal Crossing Twitter was kind of a thing, and they were just like, "Hey, if you want to be in this Discord server just for like Animal Crossing buddies, let me know." And so I joined. It was my first ever Discord server. Like, I had to like make an account for it. And I was like terrified of the internet and talking to people. My social anxiety was bad. And I joined this Animal Crossing server, and it was like 120 of us, and everyone was so fucking sweet. Like, we were all really cool. And this is before it was like 3 weeks before the game even came out. So we were just hanging out and getting to know each other and posting selfies and being like, oh my God, we're doing this. And when the game came out, we were just all over it, right? And so for some reason, I was just like, bitch, if I can sit here and enjoy myself and feel very much included in a Discord server this big off rip, I can stream. That's fine. And like half of them came to my first streams. Like, my first stream had like 48 people in it. And they were just like, oh my God, look at you go. Like, it was the sweetest thing ever. And I like left the Discord later because a lot of us just kind of left because we went on with like life, you know, and the game had kind of died down. But I would not be here without like a bunch of Animal Crossing simps at my back. I swear to God, I would not.
That's so wholesome.
They're so sweet.
I love that so much.
They're so cute. One of them invited me to her wedding. It's like next year. I need to go. She was just like, and it's two of them getting married, and they're just
Wait
like,
a minute, that's a fandom friend. You said you didn't
That
have
is
any
a
fandom
shit,
friends.
it
That's
is
a fandom friend.
yeah. Well, she invited me to her wedding, and she's just like, we would really love if you came. And they were there like when my garden room like flooded at my parents' house. My parents were in like New Orleans, and I was like, y'all, my garden room is flooding. And one of them was like, get a straw, babe. And was just like, suck it up. And like, I went and got a picture of a straw and like posted it in there, and they all twoed about it. And they were just like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I was like, oh my God, am I funny? I should like capitalize on that. And that was like it.
I should capitalize on it. I'm screaming.
You're right, though.
I mean, you are funny on the internet. Yeah. So like, you are a funny person. Do
Sure.
capitalize on
It's
it.
like my one thing I'll admit. Like, I'm funny as fuck. But other than that.
Don't sell yourself short. We're not doing that. This is not the space for selling
First of
yourself
all,
short.
you are an amazing cosplayer. Okay.
We
Yeah.
didn't come here for this. I was just talking about
You're here. You can't leave now.
What the fuck?
Well, we're here now, Alex. Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, honestly, yeah, like it was kind of a joke, but also not. Like, I guess like with fandom in general, like you can't be 8 years old, super into like, I say 8. It's like you growing up in general, but like I found it at 8, right? I found my love for fandoms at 8, and you can't go through life just like reading Yuri and Yaoi and like straight boy love and straight girl love and all, like you just like you go through it and like you really learn more about like what you find. And I think overall, with like all jokes aside, I think it helped me realize that like love is love. So it's like no matter where the love is placed, it can be found in anything, platonically, romantically, or anything. So I think that's why I say my sexuality, because it's like I'm just into all of it, you know?
That's really wholesome.
I love that for you.
Oh. Me reading Yaoi, am I gay? Honestly, same.
Absolutely. The question? Absolutely. Like me staring at Rouge the Bat, I'm like, I'm having some very gay thoughts right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I should explore that.
Mm-hmm.
I should maybe consider that.
I should maybe unpack that.
Mine, I feel like, is very similar to TK. I realized that I feel like when I was younger, I identified as bisexual pretty much my whole life. I now identify as like pansexual, and I feel like I wouldn't have really understood and developed that without the help of fandom. But to say something a little bit different too is I went through different phases in my life. Like when I was really young, I loved anime. I've always loved that stuff. But like I was saying earlier, it wasn't really cool where I was growing up at. So there were different phases in my life where I felt like I had to hide that part of me. And there were different parts where I would like try to embrace it more and like wear like the Mario shirts to school, and then I'd have somebody be like, oh, you need to like start like dressing and like growing up, you need to stop liking that stuff. And so I would like get rid of all my plushies, and then I would like buy more because I love them and they make me happy. But I went through different phases in life where I was like conforming to what other people wanted and expected me to like and do and be interested in. And I feel like now I'm at a place, and especially with the support of Twitch and all the friends that I've made through these communities, where I really know who I am and I embrace who I am, and I'm completely unmasked, and I'm just like, like I have a whole anime video game sleeve of all of my favorite things when I was a kid. And I feel like I could not have embraced myself as wholly and as honestly as I do now without being a part of all the fandoms that I was in growing up. It really helped me to find like who I am and what I like wouldn't accept for my own life, I feel like.
And I like that a lot too, because when I was really young and getting into fandoms, for me it was like so cool and very impactful and very pivotal to see a lot of adults in fandom. I was like, oh, sick. So like I don't have to stop writing fic at 30 because all of my favorite fics are by like 40-year-old women or whatever. Like, I mean, I don't know what their gender identity is, but and I think about that a lot, that like, I mean, obviously like my content creation space is an 18 plus space, but like, I mean, I can't control if like somebody sees like, I don't know, like a clip of me on Twitter, or like, somebody sees a cosplay of mine, but like I can only hope that like the world needs more fandom enthusiasts like all of you that are like still really passionate about the things that you're passionate about into your adult lives, and are like, yeah, this is what I like. Like, just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you have to stop liking something. Like, there is that section of teenagers on the internet who are like, oh my God, go pay your taxes.
Preach.
Like, don't you have like taxes to do? And I'm like, you don't just like turn 25 and you're like, oh my God, I hate everything that I used to like
anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I do feel like it's important. What was a character that made a big personal impact for you? I mean, we know for TK, it was obviously not Sakuya.
At all.
It was not her.
Fuck her. She sucks. I think Lara Croft, honestly. Lara Croft was a big one for me. Simply because female leads in video games or anything in general was few and far between. And then like when you have female leads in anime or anything like that, it's always like a rom-com or a magical girl, which I was super into, but definitely Tomb Raider, because she was so badass, man. Lara Croft was so badass, and I just wanted to be as badass as that. So much so that like every character in every anime that I was into always ended up having that same trope. Like Songo from Inuyasha was my favorite.
Love.
Yes. I'm all about the female support that's like side character, main character energy. That's like my favorite thing. From card captors, while I loved Sakura, Madison was like my favorite out of all of them. Even though I'm like, I love magical girls, I want to do like the magical girl thing, Sakura Leaf, shipping, all this other stuff. Madison was like my secret, like I guess like my secret favorite, because she wanted to be a video director. She always put Sakura in all of these cute magical girl cosplays and filmed her and made them into like movies when they were younger and like directed plays. And she was just kind of like badass on her own. So I was always like into that, and I always just wanted to be like that badass woman, you know. So I think that Lara Croft definitely catapulted that whole thing. I actually just recently learned. I watched this whole. It was like a 3-hour video. I realized how much. Like I didn't realize how into fandom I actually am until I started like really considering it all. But I watched a 3-hour video on Lara Croft. Did you know the history is she was supposed to be a Latina? Lara Croft was supposed to be Latina. She was
Why
gonna be,
did
like,
why didn't
brown
they
No
keep
shit.
that?
boobs. They changed her to a British woman because the creator felt that the world wasn't ready for a POC female lead because they
Yeah.
barely had female leads in general, so they just made her a British woman.
I hate that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
That sucks.
We could have had
That was
Latina
wild.
Lara Croft.
It was
Yeah.
Lara Cruz. Lara Cruz.
We could have had Lara
Ah.
Cruz.
Lara Cruz. Yes.
Fuck.
What?
Mhm.
That's
Damn.
upsetting.
Yeah, that is upsetting.
Yeah.
Is it cool if I have two? I have like an old
Yeah.
one and like a new one.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of Rouge the Bat again.
Here we go.
Yeah.
see
I
how
just
that goes,
I
yeah.
think I loved her off rip because she really was not taking shit off anybody. She's like, I really am about my bag, and fuck you, I guess. If you don't care about it, I literally will rob you blind. Like, and for some reason, I was like, I'm digging the crime here. Like, you can be hot and do crime. Imagine, like, and she wasn't by no means like the main character, but she was one of the main characters of her game, and like just somebody who had this like beautiful jazz music for all her levels, and her background music was just amazing. So she's all feminine, but she's also like a bad bitch who can literally just kick you to death. Like, something about that just resonated with me. You know what I mean? Like, I can be powerful, but also beat my face. I can beat you up and beat my face. Now, since I'm like, I played all of Horizon Zero Dawn and I'm like halfway through Forbidden West, I love Aloy like so fucking much. I love her so much, and I love her because she's not like main character in the same way a lot of main characters are. Like, she's got so much backstory and so much personality to her that she feels like a person that you're just hanging out with while she goes and does this shit, as opposed to just, all right, she's the hero, she's gonna go save some shit. Like, she talks about how she's feeling throughout both games. You get to see her sort of grow as a person, her come out of being almost agoraphobic because she was outcasted her entire life. Like, and she's normal looking. Like, she's not, and this is like no shade to Bayonetta because she's fine as fuck, but like, you don't have to be, you can literally be a main character and you don't have to wear 6-inch heels and have your titties out. Like, you
Yes.
don't. And
Yes.
for me, I'm like, good, because I never have seen myself as like a super, like a person who can just be super hot all the time. Like, people might think so, but like, for me, that's just not the way my confidence is set up. Like, I have days where I'm hot and days where I'm basic, and that's okay.
I feel you, yeah.
And she's just out here, bare fucking face, twigs in her fucking hair, minding her damn business. She does not have nail polish on. She is not done up to the nines, and she's the baddest bitch in the game. And the amount of hate she got, like, aside, because all those people can, quite frankly, eat my big toe. But like, outside of that, like, just, she's done so much for little girls who can just be like, I can go play in the dirt and still be cool. Because it's all she's just out here running around and shit, taking hikes. She's just outside enjoying nature. Like, she's so cool. And I love her. Like, I love her so much. And I want the best for her. And I need to finish this damn game and start the DLC. I love Aloy, and she's validating for me as well, because like, you can have your basic days and still be a bad bitch.
This is such a hard question for me to answer.
You can
'Cause
have two.
There are just so many characters that I grew up loving, and characters that I've discovered recently that I feel like are so impactful and so well written. I really like villains. I like when villains are well written and have incredible backstories, and they have depth and motives that aren't necessarily like, I'm evil and I want to take over the world and be powerful. Like, I love a well-written bad guy that you can almost empathize with.
A sympathetic villain.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And I also really love when like you think you're the hero, but really you're not. And I think that those are really powerful stories that people are able to tell. I don't want to like say too much and like give too many spoilers away. But like a character that I love, for example, is like Itachi. I think Itachi, and I know, listen, Naruto's fine. It's not the best in the world, but it's fine, you know. I think Itachi is a really interesting, complex character, and I think that you spend, you know, most of the show thinking that he's like one of the big bad characters, and really like he's a lot more complex than what he appears at first. I feel like that's also true about the main character from Nier Replicant. I think that he is such a well-written character. And I'm so fascinated when people can really write and have you be so invested in the story and in the character, and it makes such like an emotional like connection for you. I think that's really cool.
Lightning 4 questions. So just answer and then move on to the next person. What media do you wish you could consume for the first time again?
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Mine is Kakegurui. Wish I could have that first
media.
experience
Does that
again.
involve video games also?
Yes.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's on my backlog.
I didn't play it.
Oh my god, I spent 5 months diving into all of that lore.
The entirety of Final Fantasy 14.
Valid. So valid.
The whole thing.
Oh,
if I could
so
if I could relive it for the first time again, I swear to God, I would pay any amount of money to do it.
Yeah, that's valid.
Jack and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy.
Also on my backlog.
I
Damn.
love that for you.
Oh, mainly this just the first game, but it's so good.
All right, next one. What are your favorite fan fiction tropes? I'll start with mine. Omegaverse, enemies to lovers, and there's only one bed.
Bizarro World.
Ooh.
I love that shit so much.
Valid.
I really like enemies to lovers. I really like it.
Yeah, I'm way more into enemies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I swear I can fix him.
God.
I am different. I promise. Enemies to lovers, yes. Yeah. But
He would burn the world for me.
True.
enemies to lovers, but I'm more of a tsundere kind of girl. So I prefer the enemies to lovers, but the girl has to be wooed. You know?
So valid. Extremely valid.
You know what I'm saying?
I dig the hell out of that.
Have any of your OTPs or ships ever become canon?
No, and honestly, fuck the writers for that.
Canon is a suggestion. So valid.
I think we talked about mine earlier.
Yeah.
Was
One of yours did.
yeah.
One of yours did become canon. Which one was it?
Yeah. I think it was Sakura and Lee. Yeah.
Maybe I'm basic, but all of mine did. Maybe I'm just like, yeah, Inuyasha and Kagome, 100%. Yeah. Sakura, Sasuke, yeah, let me get some of that. Like, I feel like I tend to ship them because, like, yeah.
Actually,
you know,
yeah.
see
Sakura
it.
and Sasuke. Okay, yeah. So I guess one of mine became canon. Yeah. All right. And then what was or is your favorite fandom platform? Some examples that I've included are fan forums or LiveJournal or Tumblr or YouTube or Twitter or Twitch, whatever. Mine would probably be fan forums / Tumblr.
Tumblr and fanfic.com, which was like
Twitter.
old.
Twitter? Really? Okay.
Twitter.
I'm like the one person on earth who I did enjoy Twitter. I mean, I enjoy Twitter as a platform, just not for everything else regarding that. But like, Zelda Twitter is a fun place, full of a lot of people doing very ludicrous shit to Koroks right now. Like, it's just such
that makes me so
place.
sad.
Okay,
though.
valid.
I saw it, I'm like,
It's a whole lot of warcrime.com right now, but I swear to God, Zelda Twitter is one of the funniest places to live. And once they calm down and realize that setting children of the forest on fire is perhaps morally incorrect, I'm sure they'll go back to being pleasing to the eye.
They're just being silly
count on
goofy.
that. But yeah, dreams are free.
I'm like, why? Not too much, my goodness.
I would say for me, Gaia Online and Tumblr for sure.
Extremely valid. Okay, I have I have 4 more like questions of substance, and then to end it, we have 4 rapid fire questions. So we have 8 more questions. What do you think is the biggest difference between fandom today and fandom when you personally like first discovered it?
I think it's less stigmatized now. I think it's more common and more accepted, and it's more mainstream. People that used to bully me in high school, they like anime now, and I'm like, well,
I feel the same way. However, there are moments where I kind of get annoyed with it because people are like, "Oh, you don't really know anything." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Because like I was the only one, like in my head, I was the only one who knew what I was talking about when I was talking about it. And now that I know like a bunch of people who also know for the same amount of time that I have, but they're like, "Oh, you don't know. I thought you were into anime, but you don't watch the big three." And I'm like, "Well, no, but let me
Gives a
tell you
shit about the
about
big
my
three."
love story with Yamada-kun at level 99,999. You know, like let me tell you about Fruits Basket. Let me tell you about Ranma Half. You know, like
Please tell me
feel
about Fruits
like-
Basket, TK.
Name every anime right now. I'm swear
Every
to God.
anime right now. Oh, you like anime?
That's me with Pokemon.
We've all
They're like,
gotten
name,
that comment.
name 300 Pokemon right now, and I'm like, bitch.
I only know 152. but yeah, like that was like my big thing for it. But I do like that it has become mainstream, and I do like that I can not feel so isolated in what I like now. But I also chalk that up to being on the internet because I've been outside recently and people are still the same.
So
So-
true. So
Yeah.
extremely
Yeah.
true.
I think it's easier to get into at this point. Like when
That's
I was a
true,
kid,
yeah.
kind of had to more or less like stumble upon it. Like it wasn't just readily available on the little internet we had, you know,
Mhm.
and if your immediate friends around you didn't have it, that was pretty much it until you figured it out yourself. And
Yeah.
now with social media being so prominent, like you can literally just like put whatever anime you like into the search bar of whatever social media site you're on, and all that shit will pop up immediately and you can just engage. But it was nowhere near that easy when I was first getting into this stuff. That's for damn
Yeah.
sure.
Is there anything that like no longer exists that you wish still existed within fandom today?
What I miss the most is text-based RP. I'm not gonna lie. I that was like that. I would still do that if that was still like a huge thing, you know. And I think that it. I mean, it was like really popular back when AIM was still very much
God,
alive.
not AIM.
Yeah.
Don't-
Yeah. And so like that was like when it was the most popular. So yeah, I think that would be it is text-based RP or just like RP in general. But I mean, even then you have like VR chat and stuff that I guess is kind of similar, but it's just not the same, right? Unless I guess you meet people who do role playing like that. I don't know.
There
I
are
guess
some Final Fantasy 14
I
servers
was about
that are
to say
RP
that
specific.
too. I did
Mhm.
participate in some Final Fantasy 14 RPs, but they're also very close knit.
Yeah, it
and
is
it's
a
very
tight-knit
hard to
community.
break it.
Same for the GTA ones. They
Yeah.
look
God,
so
I
fun.
love them. Oh,
They look
yeah.
so fun. I want to be
Yeah.
a stripper.
That's
It
what I'm
looks like
saying.
So much fun.
That's
what
that's
I'm
the title of this
saying.
YouTube video. That's it. We've got it.
I want to be a stripper.
I want to be a stripper.
That's the poll quote.
Honestly,
And other
you need to
fandom
write that
feelings.
down.
I'm
I wanna be a
yes.
stripper. But yeah, I definitely I've tried to join in some GTRPs. Like Omar does GTRP.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh.
on his server for a little bit, but they always reset because they're still technically in beta.
Mm.
So then you have to like remember what you wrote, like what your character parameters are so that you can make them look the exact same whenever they do a reset. It's all different whenever you come in. So I definitely wish that I knew of more RP servers that were serious about RP, and less like, I don't know, no rules, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't got anything for this one.
That's okay.
I'm sitting here and I'm like,
No,
well, I don't know.
These are great.
Look, if it's been
That's a
said,
great
it's been
point.
said.
Yeah.
If it's been said, it's been said. I think you all would probably, well, maybe you wouldn't say this, but would you all still consider yourselves, like, as of right now, like a participant in fandom? And if so, like, are there any fandoms that like you're still a like active participant in today?
I don't think I am, to be honest. Like,
Girl, I would say you're an active Zelda fandom person.
For
Yeah,
sure.
so-
You are the one. You and Dragon are.
the reason
are-
I say I'm not is just because I don't, at least like with Zelda Twitter, right? Because that's like where the fandom spends most of its time, if not on Reddit. The way that they all interact with each other is very different than how I choose to interact with people who also enjoy the games. And I don't really like, they're very like and this is like no shade, they're just very surface level, I feel, because the fandom has really just been overtaken by a bunch of people who are new here, which is not a bad thing. I love it, it's growing, but they've only ever played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And so for me, because I've played like almost every game in the series, I can only have so much of a conversation with them, and they're still basically coming into this, and a lot of them don't want to play the other ones, and so I can't really interact with them the same way. And so yeah, I'm within the fandom because I am a fan and I do create like a ton of content around it, but I spend so much of my time creating content to get people to venture outside of their comfort zone of Breath of the Wild. They don't really have a whole lot of time to interact in any other like capacity. So I don't feel like I am. I feel like I'm trying to like help it move along, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
I got you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I think you're the perfect person for that, honestly.
Thanks, I'm trying.
Yes, a lot. I go to bed.
Go off.
I go to bed listening to Zelda lore. I go to bed listening to Elden Ring lore. I go to bed listening to the most random lore. The other day, I just put on an 8-hour video. Ask me why. I don't know, because I don't have that much time to spare. But I put on an 8-hour video of the lore and history and backstories of all of the Silent Hill franchise. Why?
Send that to me.
Why would I do
Send that to
So
me.
good.
Send it to me.
I want to fuck
Alright,
Silent
yeah, I got
Hill. I heard Silent Hill fucks.
Our Fandom First DM, I'm just gonna start sending you all the shit that I like watch.
Can we all just do that?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm
Because,
so
like,
validated right now.
Like, your yaoi
like,
pics
that's
in
what
there.
I do in my like
This
that's
is
what,
me.
when
That's
I'm
how I
cooking,
go to
that's
sleep.
what I do. Everybody's like, I listen to music all the time. I'm like, yeah, me too. But like, probably I'm gonna throw something on YouTube that's just like
I literally
the
just
lore
go through it.
behind everything, right? Like secrets of this and in-depth analysis of that. I watched all of the lore of the back rooms. You know who my favorite YouTuber has always been?
Who?
Especially like in the most recent years, Matt Pat. I love Game
He's
Theories.
like,
I love Film Theories.
I don't
I
know
met him.
him.
He is so sweet. He's
Yeah.
so sweet. I love him.
I saw you
I
met
love
him.
him.
Yeah. But he is one of the people that really got me into wanting to do stuff like that, right? Because like I just like theories on lore in general, and that's why I started streaming, and also is because I love lore. So I would definitely say I'm heavy into that. And now I'm really, really into Oshinoko.
Oh,
Has
wait.
anybody watched
Okay,
that yet?
wait. Oh, so TK, I went to try and watch it the other day, but I couldn't find where to watch it.
High Dive.
Oh, do I have to get a subscription for that, or can I watch
sure
it
there's
on
like
other
a-
websites?
Possibly. Could. I haven't looked.
I will look for us then.
Watch on
Possibly
other
could.
websites.
Oshinoko. Let me see.
I think that I am so deep into fandom at this point. Like what TK was saying, I feel like you're just describing me and my life. Like my YouTube algorithm is just like 8-hour lore videos. Like I taught myself the Elven language from Dragon Age. But I also feel similar to what Alex said, because even though I'm really deep into Dragon Age lore and I'm really deep into Nier lore, the Dragon Age community specifically, I feel like they just love these characters and these stories so much. They feel so passionately about it that it makes me a little bit intimidated to want to like super interact with them, because a lot of them, there's a lot of drama that goes on in like these really these really big fandoms, and I love the thing, and so I feel like I explore most of my fandom like either on stream with cosplays or like by myself watching 6, 7, 8, 10-hour videos and just learning everything I can about it, tattooing it on my body, but not really participating like in Twitter threads and like stuff like that. But I would definitely say anything that is even a tiny bit interesting to me, I am like spending hours just diving in and learning every single thing about it that I possibly can.
See, I'm the
too
one
have an
person,
obsession.
I can't watch videos most of the time. And that's the ADHD talking. I really can't do it. I just cannot sit there, even if I'm like doing something else. But what I do is I read myself to sleep every night, reading like trivia about a video game I care about. So I don't even know how many hours I've spent on like TV tropes, just like reading all of the trivia about different video games. And then they have links to stuff that they'll talk about. And so it's like if a song has something like a background behind it and how it like links into the lore, they'll have like a links like the YouTube videos you can listen along like while you're reading about it. Like it's really in depth, and that's kind of like how I have a lot of the information I have. And then sometimes I can listen to YouTube videos, but most of the time I just read myself to sleep every single night. Like I did it last night, I'll probably do it tonight. Like it's just my favorite thing. But I have to, once I play the game, all right, cool, the game is done. Now there's no spoilers. I'm about to go suck everything up. Like that's just my favorite thing to do.
Last in-depth question before our final round of rapid fire questions, which is rank your top 5 fandoms of all time. You can rank it according to whatever system you want.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Draconeer, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Pokemon, Dragon Age.
Do you lump all Final Fantasies in as one fandom? Because I separate them.
It depends. I would say, because you could also do the same thing with Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, because they are connected universes. But I think of the Final Fantasy fandom as a whole, because a lot of people play all of the Final Fantasies and there's a lot of crossover. I think that there are fandoms for specific games, but whenever I think Final Fantasy fandom, I think like all of the games, and like in that fandom, there are certain games that fandom loves a lot and are like known to be the best games, and certain games in the Final Fantasy fandom that are known to be like the worst games. But I do separate Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. Like it's still part of the same thing.
Oh no,
and, like,
I agree.
So is Nier to an extent. Like that could be like the Square Enix fandom, because like it's all under Square Enix in a way. But if I'm thinking about like Final Fantasy, I'm thinking like specifically Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, like as a whole.
That's
yeah,
fair.
that makes sense. Damn, you had that on lock.
Right.
Yeah, this is hard for me.
I'm gonna try. Number 1 is Zelda, obviously. I hope that's apparent.
No, I
Wait,
had
you like
no
Zelda?
idea.
News to you, I know. Zelda first. I'm trying to like just rate my favorite games at the same time, because it's not necessarily the same list. I think after that might be Final Fantasy, then probably Pokemon. I do like Pokemons like a lot. They're a lot of fun. None of these are anime, I'm realizing, because anime fandoms are like
Toxic.
super toxic,
Well, it also
unfortunately.
depends, right? Because so many animes like do actually feed. I mean, God, they got so many fucking episodes for most of them. For the bigger ones, it's like they give you what you want at some point.
You know what? Actually, I will put one anime in here, and it's so small, but they're so cute on Reddit. The fandom for Laid Back Camp, they are the funnest people you will ever meet.
I wanna
They are
watch
so
that.
sweet. Laid Back
Yeah.
Camp is so much fun. Literally, the people that I've seen in the fandom, they're just like sharing recipes that they've cooked of like camp recipes, and it's like pictures of them
Yeah.
out camping and everything. And I think they're just like a really fun camping Facebook group. And that's like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cute. It's
I
so
love that.
cute. I kind of want to join them more often because they seem to be enjoying life. And then number 5, I'll put Sonic, because the Sonic fandom is weird as hell,
So strange.
and they got a lot of wrong opinions about things.
Shout
as
out
long
Amethyst.
but damn it if I'm not in there.
Let's see. Fandoms. Okay. These are going to kind of like be a weird grouping, but it's just kind of how I view it, right? So my top 1 is magical girl fandoms, because I'm super into like just magical girls in general. I've always wanted to be one. And then
You are one.
It feels
Yeah.
thank you.
Right?
it feels almost like idol culture, but like not as toxic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's like
so
all
true.
of the cuteness of idol culture without the toxicity of idol culture, and that's what I really like about Magical Girl. I think my next favorite one is the Oshinoko fandom currently. Everybody's just like super into it, and honestly, it's the first time I've seen anyone say they prefer the anime so far over the manga, even though there's a lot of manga, right? Pokemon. I mean, it can be like really weird, but I feel like it's just so like it's so old now that there's just so many different people in there, and everybody has different experiences in it.
I mean, at this point, it's like it's got like 3 generations of people.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird.
My other favorite one to not really like I'm not a part of it, but my favorite one to like just I guess watch from the window is that's actually a funny reference. SpongeBob. I like SpongeBob.
Okay, valid.
Period.
You're valid, yeah.
That's very valid.
Like you can always tell the type of people who watch the first half of SpongeBob versus the second half of SpongeBob, and who's watched all of it, right?
First
so
half.
that's my favorite one to just like Squidward watch from the fucking shadows down into
While they're running and shit.
yeah. Yeah. I think my fifth one is definitely going to have to be Demon Slayer fandom.
Ooh.
And I know it's toxic, and I've only watched like the first season and a few episodes after, but the way people really ride for Demon Slayer, like that community, they ride hard. And it's really not as toxic as it could be. It's not as toxic as I've seen others for sure, but yeah.
But it could be.
I think that's
Horrors of Tengen page.
There's
Just a page and it's called The Horrors of Tengen, and it's just all the women who would gladly
Link
be
me
one
that.
of these bitches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gotta follow this. I'm
Thanks for
feeling it. Shit's getting flashy in here. Like,
Bonus round of rapid fire questions. Who is your favorite villain ever? Oh yeah, Dragon, you're ready to go. I think I know who you're gonna say, but
It's Makishima.
I knew it.
From
TK,
Psychopass.
please
He's
watch
just-
Psychopass. Please watch Psychopass.
He's just so well written.
I'm down.
You'll understand.
Love him.
Valid.
Xenos from 14.
Are you a Xenos fucker?
I wouldn't fuck him.
No,
but I would
sorry. I mean
absolutely,
like you fuck with him. Yeah, like
Oh,
you
I do.
him.
Like
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
he's so well fucking written, and like he's killed a whole lot of people, and I really hope that motherfucker is dead for real. But like I like Xenos, and I want the hair care routine immediately. But
So
also,
true.
I'd like
And
to,
you
I'd
are-
like to beat his ass.
You are not alone. There are so many people that love Xenos, so definitely
Yeah, I think it is.
you got some
Xenos.
friends. TK, who's yours?
Yeah.
Zareth Dragneel.
Please
Yeah.
elaborate.
Fairy Tail. He is the main
Okay.
antagonist of Fairy Tail.
Wait, is he the guy with the black hair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my man literally has a painting of him in our living room. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
yeah,
who is
yeah.
this motherfucker over my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bookshelf?
Well, now you know it's TK's favorite villain. That's all you need to
Now
know.
I know.
What piece of media? It can be a video game, it can be a TV show, it can be a movie, whatever. It can be a book franchise. What piece of media disappointed you the most with its ending?
Game of Thrones.
With its ending?
Game of Thrones didn't surprise me. Like, it disappointed me, but I was like, I'm not surprised. Gossip Girl. It was Gossip Girl for me.
Gossip Girl was trash.
The TV show, to be
man.
specific. The
Oh,
TV
yeah,
show.
yeah.
The ending
It
of the
was- it
TV
was
show.
trash.
But it's okay because the whole cast hated it too. So at least we're not
Yeah.
alone.
I think
Does it
was
have to be like
that.
they planned this ending, or this is just where it ended?
Yeah, just however it
Either
ended.
one.
Either one.
Okay,
yeah.
because Teen Titans, the way it ended, pisses me off to this day.
Oh,
Yeah.
valid.
Never watched Teen
Pisses me
Titans.
off.
Oh, it's a
Pisses
good
me-
one.
Well, you would love it. You would absolutely
Yeah.
love it, TK.
I was never into like superheroes and stuff.
It's not as superhero-y ish as you would think.
Hmm.
Yes, it's about superheroes and they do
Mhm.
superhero shit, but it's not in the same way that any other superhero piece of media like portrays superheroes, and it's
Right.
not so heavily focused on like them being superheroes so much. It's just teens who are grappling with being teens and
Mhm.
like fuckery who also happen to do superhero shit, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay. So
It
it's
is-
My Hero.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
canonically
but it's better.
anime.
It's
It is-
better
it
than
is
My Hero.
literally
Okay.
anime.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, it is. It's literally an anime.
It's,
It
yeah,
absolutely
I
is.
didn't think that it was because it was
Yeah.
made here, but it is canonically an anime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very
Yeah.
like My Hero-y.
What piece of media disappointed you with its ending?
Tokyo Ghoul.
I've never seen Tokyo Ghoul,
Ooh.
but I've always had it
Yeah.
recommended to me.
I hated it. Specifically, the transition from the second season into the third season. It was trash. It left nothing to be desired. I watched the first 2 episodes of the third season and I hated it. But the thing about Tokyo Ghoul is with the manga, the second season is technically non-canonical. The third season is supposed to be the second season, but there is no understanding between the first season and the third season, which should be canonically the second season, coming together the way that
Oh.
it is. So it all just like got very jumbled, and it was, yes, the anime, not the manga. Yeah. I hated the way that they treated the manga. I mean,
That's
the
fair.
anime.
What is your favorite headcanon that you've ever created? It can be that Inuyasha chose
Ooh.
you instead of somebody else. That's okay. That's a headcanon.
was gonna say.
That is your headcanon.
Lee actually chose me, and I became the magical girl. But it's neither here nor there.
No, it's here and there,
Oh,
actually.
you're right. You're right.
No, no. Say what your chest. It's okay.
You're right.
If you're having trouble thinking of one that you created, I will allow you to pick one that you read that you were like, actually, that's way better and I like it, and that is my canon now.
I really like Ashes in a Coma theory. I think that's just a fun one, and it explains why he doesn't age. It's kind of dark, but I just thought it was cool when I was younger. I thought of one that I made. Sonic the Hedgehog and Zack Fair from Final Fantasy VII are the same person.
Okay, I didn't know you were going with it for a second, and I was about to have a fucking problem, but okay, no, I'm with it.
Zack Fair?
I'm with it.
He and Sonic the Hedgehog, they're the same person. And I have done a whole everything. Like, there is a 1-to-1 character being the same character in Final Fantasy VII as Sonic. Like, we could talk about Knuckles being Genesis. We could talk about Aerith literally being Amy. Aerith is literally Amy.
I'm not high enough for this because you're making a lot of sense.
It makes sense. Like, I could go on. Like, I have thought this through. They're the same. Like, I think that I don't know which came first. I feel like Sonic came first, but they were definitely inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog when they were writing Final Fantasy VII. That's the same. They're the same characters.
I could see
like,
that, yeah.
Yeah. There's the Doctor in Final Fantasy VII. That's Dr. Robotnik. Like,
we've never seen Zack and Sonic in the same room. So like,
yeah.
I have one for you also, and Kage can back me up. Anybody can ask him this. Okay, he'll tell you it's true. Okay, Deku is just supersonic, but like not supersonic, like yellow supersonic. He's like Sonic, but with a cape on.
I'm bought in.
I'm not.
That's it.
You don't need to convince me.
That's where you're going with it. But
That's it. They look the same to me. That's what I thought happened. So here we are. They are the same. And
So
Kage
valid.
agrees.
the only one I can think of is from fucking Ed, Ed, and Eddie, okay? Like, my
That's
brain is
okay.
fighting for its life.
That's
The
okay. Hit us with the
all
Ed, Ed, and
those
Eddie.
kids are dead thing.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's a
Pretty
good
cool.
one.
Different eras.
Yeah.
Wolf was the first one to come, and it just
Mhm,
came from that thing. I love that shit because it makes way too much sense. And they asked Danny Antonucci if like what he thought about it, and he literally was he got like he freaked out for a second. He was like, shit. Like he had like nothing to say, and so he can either like confirm nor deny. Like, if you ask him now, he's still just like, I don't.
Yes. Yes, the Rugrats theory.
The
Rugrats
one,
theory.
Oh God.
I believe
Oh,
that
God.
fully. Which piece of media did you consume and then you were like, I'm going to ignore canon. I'm going to choose to ignore canon. For whatever reason, it could be something small. It could be like, oh, I didn't like how they did that. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. Or it could be something big. It could be like a big plot point. It could be who they ended up with. You could be like, oh, I don't like who they ended up with. So in my head, they ended up with this person instead.
Hunter x Hunter destroyed me so bad emotionally on Christmas Eve that I like refused to acknowledge it.
That's
I mean,
so
it beat
sad.
it beat my ass. It really did. Like, you can ask my boyfriend. I cried for 30 minutes. I was sobbing uncontrollably, and I had to pull myself together to go to like Christmas Eve dinner with my parents, and I was not having a good time. Like, I was a wreck emotionally. And so now anytime I tell people I've watched Hunter x Hunter, they're like, oh my God, what did you think about that? And I'm like, I never saw it.
You know what?
Don't
I
know what it
respect
is.
that. I respect
I'm
that.
sorry. And they're like, no, you saw it. What part? Chimera Ant, the end of it. I like refuse. They're like, oh my God, will you watch it with me? I was like, no, I actually won't. You will never get me to do it. My therapist had to hear about it. It was that bad.
It is the Bayo 3 ending for me. Absolutely. That never happened. And congratulations to anybody who it did happen for. But for me, it didn't happen. The ending of Mass Effect did not happen for me. Garrus and Femshep are married and having a Turian human mixture of baby together is what happened for me.
What the hell?
Yeah, they are. You go first, Dragon.
Digimon. They recently
Digital
made
monsters.
They recently made like a new version. Not recently, it was a few years ago, where it's called Digimon Try, and they basically continued the character storyline from the first couple of seasons, but instead of it being like about the Digimon and about the fighting, it was more of like a romance anime, which I was fine with, but they weren't romancing the right people. I always shipped Ty with Matt, even when I was a kid, I was like, I love Matt. Like I love him, and I want Ty to love him also. But
Well, how can he
they were
love
all...
Ty if Matt loves me?
He said, now hold on.
Me with my group. But they were all with the wrong characters. And I was like, this is not right. And so I stopped watching it, and I haven't started again, even though like I knew it wasn't, you know, like
TK with Kari?
TK.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Is with Kyrie, but like I was always supposed to. That's canon.
Debatable.
But like I'm pretty sure that it's like Matt and I don't even know who Matt's dating anymore. But I think Sora. No, because
Sora.
Because yeah, they were with Matt and Ty were always fighting over Sora, and I was like, well, Mimi is right there. Mimi is literally Aerith. Convince me otherwise.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right on that one. Yeah.
But I stopped watching Digimon Try because I was like, y'all are not holding hands with the right characters.
Oh, you know what? Game of Thrones. That one.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
valid.
one. Yeah. I don't even believe it was actually canon. I think that was all a lie. That was a fever dream, honestly. It made
So
no
true.
sense. It didn't tie any storylines together. Like, why are you learning how to be a faceless person and then nothing comes of it? Like,
Yes.
what the fuck is happening? Everything after season 5 did not happen for me.
Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out and talking about fandom with me. I'll let y'all give like little outros. Tell us, where we can find you, when we can find you, all of the things. Wow, none of you want to leave? Okay, valid. Let's just stay here for 5 more hours. I got no plans.
I was doing mod work. I was over here shouting people out. I was like, oh, I'm finally a mod. Let's go.
Damn.
So I'm Dragon. I'm KTCOLE 19's mod. IRL friend. Love her so much. Thank you for having me be here. Thank you for including me amongst all these other incredible content creators. I'm suddenly so shy. I like RPGs, JRPGs, anime, pretty much anything. I built my Twitch around loving lore and wanting to talk to people about lore and like getting really into it. And like I play games primarily to like make theories about them and like try to understand like, the deeper parts of the game and stuff. So that's a little bit about me. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram Reels. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on all of the things. I do cosplay, and I'm in KTCOLE 19's stream pretty much every time she streams. So yeah,
We're all just trying to have fun on the internet and like talk about things that we like, which I think is the core part of the fandom experience that gets forgotten. Like, aren't we all here because we like something?
Agree. So like I said, I'm a variety creator. I like to say that I just make content and do things that little Alex would just love to have been able to do herself. Like I said, I play a lot of Zelda, but I really will play almost anything. I'll try anything once, except for like first person shooters, because the way my anxiety is set up, if you shoot at me, not only will I throw something, but you'll also have to hear me scream into the mic, and you don't want that. But other than that, I just really enjoy video games for what they are. I'm really big into video game background music. It's just one of my favorite things in the world. That's really it. Anytime I play video games live, the commentary that come out of my mouth is not rehearsed, but it's very much out of pocket.
That's
I just
what we're
apologize.
here for.
If you come in there, I apologize already. I'm so sorry. Outside of that, you can literally find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and my name is the same on everything because I made sure it stayed that way. I cosplay a lot. Not very often anymore because I make my cosplays by hand instead of like buying one. But
I love that.
That is so cool. And we watch your 3D printing as like a way to soothe our brains.
Yeah, so I just like to create, and I just be creating out here. It's just my favorite thing to do.
I love it. Thank you. TK, you want to round it out?
So I'm TKayO. Call me TK if you want, but I don't know. I'm essentially probably one of a few, if not a handful, of the loudest streamers you'll ever meet in your life. I am a proud smut enthusiast. I honestly like to just pour my brain onto the internet. I have no rhyme or reason for anything. If you look at any of my social media, there is no theme because my brain lacks a theme. So I just do whatever I feel like and then hang out with people and talk a lot of shit. And that's about it.
And TK
Love
also
it.
plays games on the hardest difficulty, which is something that I always remember about you. And I am
Yeah.
super impressed by because
bold.
Don't be.
I
hate
Googled
myself
how to get to the
for it.
save
Don't
menu.
be.
So like,
It's rough out here in hardest difficulty land. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you all so much for being here. Y'all, thank you for coming. I'm Katie. If you want to follow me, you can. None of my commands are working, but that's okay. I am live every Tuesday at 5:30, depending on what time I get out of work. 5 or 5:30. And we typically do first-time playthroughs of JRPGs or RPGs. We talk about fandom a lot. I'm also a huge yaoi enthusiast, smut enthusiast. I be filtering fics by rated E for erotica. Thank you for your enthusiasm and your chats and your questions and just being here and hanging out with us. We really, 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 really appreciate it. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the raids and any of the subs and anything like that. This will go up on YouTube eventually. I'll probably edit it down in a few days, and maybe it'll also go up on Spotify podcasts. We'll see. We'll see. It's a big wide world. Let's go raid Kage and send him all of the love, and I will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.